Let's dive into the 1976 sci-fi classic Logan's Run, a film that explores themes of life, death, and freedom, all wrapped up in a visually striking futuristic package. So grab a seat and get comfy. Here we go. Intro and overview. Logan's Run is one of those films that's stuck in the cultural memory for its bold premise and its portrayal of a utopian society that isn't as perfect as it seems. Directed by Michael Anderson, the movie is based on the 1967 novel by William F. Nolan and George Clayton Johnson. It was released in 1976, at a time when the world was beginning to face serious questions about environmental collapse, overpopulation, and the value of life itself. The story takes place in a future where the Earth is suffering from overpopulation, and the government has imposed a strict rule. People are only allowed to live until the age of 30. When they reach this age, they're given the honor of a ceremonial death in a process called carousel. But the catch? There's no real explanation given, only that they must die. If they try to escape this fate, they become runners, hunted down by elite agents known as Sandmen. The movie follows one of these Sandmen, Logan, played by Michael York, as he starts questioning the system that's dictated his entire life. The movie kicks off with Logan being a dedicated Sandman, catching and killing runners who attempt to escape their fate. But his life takes a turn when he's assigned a mission to find Sanctuary, a mythical place where people who've escaped the system supposedly live free of the age limit. Logan's task? Find Sanctuary and eliminate it, to prove that escape is a lie. But things get complicated when Logan himself becomes a runner after he reaches the age of 30. With his own life on the line, Logan joins forces with Jessica, played by Jenny Agutter, a woman who is also trying to escape the societal rules. They travel through a post-apocalyptic world, meeting various individuals and groups along the way, like the remnants of humanity living outside the city, and eventually discovering the dark truth about their society. The final scenes lead to an emotional and philosophical conclusion about life, freedom, and human existence. The plot is a reflection of the anxieties of the 1970s, concerns about population control, environmental damage, and the limits of human existence. It's part dystopian future, part philosophical meditation. Characters and performances. Logan. Michael York plays the protagonist, Logan, and his character is the heart of the story. Initially, Logan is a cold, detached enforcer of the system, someone who's grown up believing in the societal structure. But as the film progresses, he transforms into a person questioning everything he's been told. York brings a quiet intensity to the role, and his journey from loyal soldier to fugitive is portrayed with vulnerability. Jessica is the one who wakes Logan up to the possibility of escape. Agutter brings warmth and a sense of hope to her character, providing the balance to Logan's increasingly disillusioned view of the world. She's the beacon of freedom and curiosity in a system that wants to crush both. Francis, Richard Jordan. Francis is Logan's friend and fellow Sandman, but as Logan starts to rebel, Francis becomes his primary antagonist. His devotion to the system and his obsession with Logan's escape make him a formidable adversary. Richard Jordan plays the role with a sense of passionate righteousness, which makes him a great foil for Logan's transformation. Farrah Fawcett plays the character of Maid, a fellow runner who Logan and Jessica encounter on their journey outside the domed city. While her role in the film is relatively brief, Farrah brings her signature charm and strength to the character. Maid's determination and willingness to fight for survival in the face of overwhelming odds resonate with the film's larger themes of freedom and resistance. Her appearance, even in a minor role, still carries weight because of her stature as an iconic figure in Hollywood at the time. At the time, Logan's Run was released in 1976. Farrah Fawcett was already a household name, largely thanks to her role in the immensely popular TV show Charlie's Angels, which she had been a part of since 1976. Her performance as Jill Munro made her an international star and solidified her as one of the most recognizable women in entertainment. Her famous poster featuring her in a red swimsuit became a pop culture sensation and is still one of the best-selling posters of all time. However, by the time she appeared in Logan's Run, Farrah was starting to move beyond her Angels image. While Charlie's Angels was still running, Farrah began to take on more challenging roles in film. She was branching out into more dramatic and diverse parts, looking to prove she could do more than just play the beautiful blonde. Logan's Run was part of that transition, showing her in a different light, more gritty and resilient, though still possessing her undeniable screen presence. Farrah Fawcett's career would continue to evolve throughout the 1970s and 1980s, with notable performances in TV movies like The Burning Bed, 1984, for which she received critical acclaim. But her role in Logan's Run is an interesting glimpse into her transition from television icon to a more diverse acting career. Themes and ideas. Life and death. At the core of Logan's Run is a question about the value of life. When death is arbitrarily decided for people, how do you make sense of your existence? The film critiques the idea of controlling death to maintain societal order. It's not about whether people should live longer, but about how freedom and the ability to choose your fate are so essential to the human experience. Freedom versus control. This is a major theme, seen not only in the escape from the city, but also in the way the society controls its people. The entire system is built around control, deciding when people die, when they're allowed to reproduce, and even when they're allowed to love. The film forces us to question, what price do we pay for safety and order? Youth and aging. The society in Logan's Run celebrates youth and penalizes aging. There's a clear commentary on how society sometimes values beauty and vigor over wisdom and experience. The central dilemma is whether it's better to live in a perpetual state of youth or whether wisdom and life experience are worth the eventual loss of vitality. Environmental collapse. Though not as explicit as other sci-fi films, there's an underlying theme about the consequences of unchecked growth. The decaying, abandoned world outside the city suggests that the resources we consume are finite, and the limits of nature will eventually catch up with us. 5. The TV series and legacy. In 1977, Logan's Run was adapted into a short-lived TV series. While it only ran for a single season, the show expanded on the ideas of the movie, following Logan and Jessica as they journeyed through the outside world, seeking sanctuary and battling the oppressive system. The series had a similar tone to the film, though it veered into more episodic adventures with a lighter feel. The legacy of Logan's Run can be seen in many later films and TV shows. The concept of a dystopian world where the individual must fight against an oppressive system is a recurring theme in post-1970s sci-fi. Films like The Matrix and Equilibrium draw directly from the same ideas of control, freedom, and questioning society. Even the 2000s Minority Report touches on themes of predetermined fate, with a society attempting to control its citizens. 6. Similar movies of its time and later. In the 1970s, dystopian films were starting to gain a lot of attention. Logan's Run fits right in with movies like Soylent Green, 1973, a film about overpopulation, resource depletion, and the deadly consequences of a controlling government. A Clockwork Orange, 1971, a psychological exploration of free will and the use of state control to suppress individuality. THX 1138, 1971, George Lucas's directorial debut about a society where human emotions are controlled, a film with a similar emphasis on individuality versus societal control. Later films that picked up the torch include The Matrix, 1999, another iconic sci-fi film about questioning reality, with a protagonist breaking free from a control system. Equilibrium, 2002, a dystopian film featuring a society where emotions are suppressed, similar to Logan's Run in its criticism of control and free will. The Hunger Games, 2012. While more modern, The Hunger Games shares Logan's Run's themes of a totalitarian society controlling its citizens and the consequences of youth being pitted against one another. 7. Conclusion and final thoughts. Logan's Run is a deeply philosophical film disguised as a sci-fi action adventure. It's about youth, freedom, and the inevitability of death. Timeless questions that continue to resonate. While the special effects may seem dated by today's standards, the movie's social commentary remains as relevant as ever. It's a meditation on what it means to be truly alive and how we often trade that life for security and conformity. If you haven't seen it yet, or if you haven't revisited it in a while, it's definitely worth checking out. The film's dystopian world and compelling questions about life and death still have a lasting impact.